Joining us, I am Yori Folari. Good to have you with us. My guest this morning, well, we got Barrister Jide Ologun. He's a lawyer and political affairs analyst on the one hand, and then we also have an august visitor in the person of Mr. Sunny Adenuga. Sunny is national chairman of Boot Party. Sunny is a senior IT leader. More than 2 decades he's been at it, and we're going to talk. Well, we'll talk about 2 things, but let me just keep the other one on the wraps for a bit. Let's talk first of all about this whole matter about electronic voting, which, as you know, all the political parties are not on the same page about. Yeah. Some, and those tend to be the more quote-unquote radical among them. They say, yeah. The others, shall we say, the conservatives are saying, no, e-voting is. So let's start there. And I'm starting with you because, Mr. Adenuga, I'm starting with you because you say, first of all, I said you're chairman of Boot Party. Yeah. Boot as in the actual boot you wear, as in a soldier's boot. But it has nothing to do with boots and soldiers. Yeah. It's, formed from, it's an acronym of because of our tomorrow. Yeah. B-O-O-T. Now we got that out of the way. Talk to me, if you will, about this concept of electronic voting, how difficult it is. But your party has actually used this.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. Now, as a political party, we created our constitution and clearly defined in the constitution that we're only going to be conducting direct primaries. Now, to be able to achieve this, we realized that we need technology to be able to do this, because by the provision of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, you can actually conduct either direct or indirect primaries.
That's right.
But because we're an ultra-transparent political party, we decided that we're going to be doing direct primaries. Now, to be able to achieve this, we need technology. So we designed our app, which anyone or our members or anyone in the public sector at all, if they want us to show them through the entire process, from being a member of Boot Party up to being able to be listed for in our app, then you'll be able to participate in an election. So it's actually very broad and very transparent. And we've actually used our e-voting process to be able to conduct our Congress in Akwa Ibom State, and as well our Congress in Rivers State. And ultimately, in the last primary election primaries of Boot Party for upcoming Anambra elections, we actually used e-voting. So, of course, INEC is not really so happy about it, but we gave the opportunity to
INEC. INEC is INEC traditionally monitors, that is, observes and is present at primaries. Yeah. When you say INEC is not particularly happy about it, how do you mean?
Yeah, what we mean is this: it's not just only e-voting. We actually did also e-monitoring. You can actually sit here, any part of the world, and actually monitor as the election are being conducted. And we gave INEC opportunity to actually look through this process. Fine, I understand that by law, INEC is meant to monitor elections. But what we've done is that we look at the Electoral Act as amended, we look at the Constitution, and our e-voting and e-monitoring process have actually fulfilled all the requirements. The way, thanks a lawyer is here. The way law works is that if a law doesn't say you can do something, that doesn't mean you shouldn't be able to do it. If you look at those who created Uber, those who created many technology-driven services all over the world, it's not like they are trying to circumvent a process. No, but they don't wait for you. They are innovators. They're not going to wait for you and say, until you make law before we're going to create Uber. Then if Uber is not doing what you want it to do, then you're probably going to make law. And it's the same way about the e-voting process of Boot Party, and all our members are happy about it. You will recall that in the Constitution and Electoral, it gave power to the party's constitution that allows the party constitution to reign supreme. Provided our members are happy about it, then INEC should not be able to tell us that we won't be able to do it, and provided it fulfills all the requirements and the guidelines of INEC.
Now, is that the position at the time? As INEC said, you might not be able to do this, moving forward, even though you've done it.
Well, I think we probably will say we've reconciled now, because they still visited, they witnessed the e-voting process in Anambra State, and our candidate, as we speak, is also going to be on the ballot for Anambra election. So,
Okay.
quote and unquote,
For
then
you-
we say INEC is changing. And this is one of the things we always tell people anyway. When you are introducing a change, we also have to be patient. And one of our values in the Boot Party is actually patience. So we were patient with them and we negotiated mini, and today I think both are on good.
Well, it's interesting you say that about the elections coming up in Anambra. That you actually have a candidate, which is more than that can be said by some parties, because even as of last night when I checked, INEC is still being requested not to register particular individuals in the upcoming November 6th election. But Mr. Logan, switching to you, the way the chairman of Boot Party explains it, it seems straightforward enough. If what they are able to do and are comfortable and happy with, what do you think makes, why do you think that isn't the case throughout the political spectrum? After all, he's talking about transparency. Give me your thoughts, your ideas.
Foundationally, IT is here to facilitate effectiveness, efficiency, and of course, to reduce cost of processes. And his party has demonstrated that it's possible. And I must say on behalf of the Nigerian government that it's not a problem of capacity, it's a problem of sincerity and motive, and whether they are prepared to embrace the tenets of democracy when it comes to electoral processes, because your elections must be seen to be credible, fair, and transparent. So if you are ready for that, I think the IT lane is the way to go. After all, in banking transactions, you hardly find yourself in banking halls now. And let's talk about BVN. Any of the banks can generate your BVN on the system. There are several e-platforms. In fact, our president has found himself joining virtual meetings, the Federal Executive Council meetings, operated by virtual devices. And again, INEC has even been deploying IT, the accreditation that we use the machines for, though with the excuse that we don't have the facility and backup. And in this particular case, the issue under the Electoral Act is the Section 52 that empowers INEC to use e-device during electoral processes. But the amendment being introduced now by the National Assembly is that the aspect of transferring results to collation center by e-device will be determined by the National Commission's Communications Commission, NCC, with the approval of the National Assembly. Snatching that from INEC. And INEC is saying no, and we have the capacity.
Yes.
And so it's a matter of sincerity. Because if something is expected to make your exercise fluent and trustworthy, and you are kicking against it, then you must have a hidden intention. So whether we like it or not, we have the capacity. But I can also let you know that unless we work on the sincerity of purpose, it will be frustrated, because other elements will be brought in, because IT itself responds to human maneuvering. If you decide to manipulate, we've had some professional bodies elections that people cried foul.
No, people simply know about hacking.
Hacking, different kinds of excuses.
It is possible to be hacked.
But by and large, the world is now operating an e-economy and e-governance, so to say. So we need to catch up with them. And
I would dare to go as far as saying that that is without prejudice to all that you said about technology being with us. The president himself, he's into virtual meetings. We do it all the time. It's the fact of the matter here is they know the value of it. Don't ask me who is they. They know the value of it, but everybody seems to be scared about it because it would remove. You use the word manipulation, so I'm going to just say that you use the word manipulation. Since the word manipulation that you spoke about, ordinarily, yes, we have said that sites can be hacked and all of that, but then it's not commonplace and a routine, everyday affair, and so people can prepare for it. But in our society, I would stick my neck out and guess that there are those who are scared about the transparency, barring hacking, barring manipulation, the utter transparency of it all, because there will be all sorts of checks. Are you of the right age? Are you actually qualified to vote? Did you vote? Did you not vote? So all of that would just be done. Yoruba people called, I think, internet ayarabiasha, instantly, as fast as a hawk. I don't know how they arrived at that's the ayarabiasha bit.
Can I
please
dwell on that a bit? Now, you see, truly, as you've said, there are risks out there. Obviously, there are risks of hackers hacking our electoral process. But we can also build on existing infrastructure we have in the country. Let's give an example. Today in Nigeria, practically walk to any ATM machine and be able to actually withdraw money. I remember when ATM started, a lot of people were skeptical as well. They were saying a lot of things.
There still are a few,
let
it be said, there still are a few, minuscule, but a few, who say, I don't want that ATM card.
That's true, sir. But the point now is this. Will you spend 1 hour in a banking hall instead of going to an ATM to cash money? And let's extend on that a bit. Technology can be made such that even people can actually carry out their voting exercise at the ATM machine. Is for the DevOps guys are there. I've sat with some of the technology teams in the country before, and these guys are very, very competent. They will be able to do this. And I think the point here is that it's about this idea about transparency. And also, let's also look at the fact that it will save huge billions of naira. You know, we had election in Lagos recently, and people talk about election apathy. But the point here is this. If you make election very easy for people to assess, it becomes a less excuse that people give that, I can't leave my home at a particular time because there were curfew or restriction. People will be able to vote. And I have to say this also, when we conducted our e-voting exercise, the way it works is this.
In your primaries?
Yes, in our primaries.
Regarding the Anambra election?
Yes, regarding the Anambra election, even the congresses, it gives you opportunity over a period of time. Now, let's say we had the Anambra election the 30th of July. Voting had already started as far back as 27. So because it's electronic, once you voted, you voted. It is logical control, it's logical access control that you are given a token that you could use to vote. And it could be scary for a lot of people, but it's actually very doable. It's for good heads to be on ground and apply the necessary controls to the risk.
I don't know why Barrister Ologun is smiling. Why are you?
It's because these facilities are here with us. This culture is here with us. By the grace of God, I'm a member of the Nigerian Bar Association, Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria also, and we have been engaging e-voting, very fluent. Like you said, even before the day of the AGM, you can sit down in your car with the driver driving and you go on and vote. On the day of the AGM, we set up the facilities at the back of the hall. You go there and vote. You have less of nobody is snatching ballot boxes, and so it's the way to go. But I think the challenge we have here is the issue of change management. Change management starts with resistance, and those who resist basically are those who are benefiting from what you are trying to change. So if there are those who have been patronized by ballot boxes snatchers, manipulators of electoral results between the polling booth and the collation centers, and all the huge amounts that we spend in elections, I think the 2019 election took nothing less than 86 billion naira from our coffers. So when you look at the processes of change management, you expect this resistance. But from what I can see now, and the responses in the National Assembly, I think we must be moving towards electronically transferring results.
And by the way, INEC,
the polling centers.
You had explained what's going on in the National Assembly right now regarding that, and how they're coming up with their own position on it. But did you want to come in?
Yeah, I want to come in and say something about this electronic transmission. Personally,
because INEC has said it can be done.
It can be done.
For the avoidance of doubt, they are able to do it.
Yeah, it can be done. And to be honest with you, we at the Boot Party doesn't think even INEC need new legislation to be able to do that in the first instance. As we speak, and before even the current amendment to the Electoral Act, INEC has power to create a guideline. All INEC needed to have done is to create e-transmission guideline. What are they trying to achieve? It's transparency. We don't need to change the process of signing off all the paper election form, okay? At the polling unit, after you have signed off all those forms, take a picture of it. And it will go straight into the portal. And what INEC have done,
that is to say scan.
Yeah, they take a picture or scan it, and it goes into the portal. And what that does is this: it removes the opportunity for anyone to go in between the polling unit and the collation center to change this up, because the person will know that it has already gone into the portal, and anyone who is monitoring the election can actually go into the portal and be able to download a copy of this result. That is very simple to do. Like the current polling unit that was just created by INEC. INEC guideline and the process they follow, which is brilliant. They call all the political party leaders to a meeting, and they tell us what they've done. If we are not happy with it, we give them their feedback, and they go back and amend things. And they've done this brilliantly. So the question we should be asking ourselves is that, is it INEC that's actually playing games with us, or somebody else? Because they don't really need a new hack to be able to do this. That's our view. Thank you.
Indeed. I was going to say that there is no question as to the efficacy of all of this. It's beneficial, but like a lot of things, the status quo is often a problem. Even criminality and terrorism and all these bandits and all of that, it has been said, that look, all of this can virtually disappear almost overnight once there is sincerity of purpose. But because there are so many that are benefiting from this, witness that people are, we're beginning to hear that, look, if people don't comply, I think we're talking about Taraba, we will expose whoever is involved, no matter who they are in society.
It's not a matter of exposing.
No, I'm just saying that that is suggesting that some people are aware that there are people behind efforts to change, and we're taking from his change management thing that we're talking about.
And often these people may be in the minority, but highly influential, that you need to break through their eyes to achieve what you want to achieve.
In the minority. I'm hoping that those kind of people can't be in the majority.
They don't need to be in the majority. they hold
I think it's just the same thing all over the world about change.
Yes. You can see the networking, the NCC, the INEC, the National Assembly, and by the time you pass through all this system to achieve what you want to achieve, you must have really, expended a lot of sweat. But we are just advising our wonderful country that the best way to go is the way to deliver effectively, with cost effectiveness, and you have transparency to present on the table. And whether we like it or not, the change process is mobile. I mean, at a point in time, some people never wanted to touch the GSM phone. But today, if you must communicate, that is the minimum connection that you have as a citizen. So whether these politicians like it or not, things are changing, and if they don't change, they will be changed. That is just the point.
There's a sense in which we can say that BOOT, because of our tomorrow, is at the cutting edge of this effort, because you are basing, in fact, quite frankly, if anybody took the time to check out your website and look at your manifesto, you'll find that you have some, quite frankly, like all political parties, you have ideas. Corruption, because this is connected with corruption. You actually have a very interesting idea when I checked your website about this whole matter.
Shed more light on it.
Yeah, but we can't go into a full-blown
not
because this is not a commercial about this is not a commercial about BOOT.
Our view on corruption.
One moment, please.
Okay, sir.
Because Opara in VI has called in. Let me get that. Good morning, sir. Mr. Opara in VI.
Abba Kyari, good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in. Good morning.
Good morning to the guests in the studio there.
Sure.
Abba Kyari, anybody who loves transparency, anybody who loves this country, in the sincerity of it, will go for this electronic transmission. Disappointingly that the party we are having now cannot go for it. How many years? We are talking of the electoral bill, pass it. They just maneuver the thing and did this. Look at what we give a credible election in this country. Everybody knows that, but in as much as this regime is concerned, forget they can never. They can never. They don't want transparency at all. This regime has failed and failed. They know that.
Wait a minute. We're not talking about regimes. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Para. People will go where they want to go. But, you know, indeed, the time will come when if that is the subject matter we're discussing, by all means, you know, we take all sorts of opinions. So I wasn't in any way, shape or form trying to guide you, but it's sort of out of the scope of this particular conversation. I thought you were going to stay on your commentary on e-voting and the like. But yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Para. Call in again, if you will. Now, you wanted to comment, because I was talking about your attitude to corruption, and you know, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Because as you are speaking about your attitude to corruption, I remember yesterday I was, you know, querying my guest on which one is repentant bandits. You know, so that was a different conversation. Now, I said that because your party also has an attitude of the notion, the idea of, look, we will not waste time on recriminations. All that's gone in the past, forgive the past, and let's turn over a new leaf. Was that accurate?
Yeah, it's fairly accurate.
Fairly accurate.
And
okay, I'll take it.
Yeah, it's fairly accurate in the sense that, I mean, hope is the greatest gift of man. And you can't be talking about hope without talking about the future. Now, we've made those decisions. We've voted a second-hand failure as president. But we can't dwell on that.
Wait, which one? You mean in the past?
Yeah, in the past.
Oh, okay.
Now, the point now is this. What we need to do, any government that comes into power, we hope that if we form government, we look into the future. Let's speak example about corruption. It's clearly going to be prevented. As we speak today here, sirs, we all know in our country that corruption is endemic. We should not be deceiving ourselves about this. And as a Nigerian,
knowing that is why people will, you know, perk up when you say what you just said, that it's endemic, yet, did you say you're going to reduce it or eradicate it?
We're going to most likely eradicate it, because the way we're going to go about is this. The challenges in Nigeria, it's not just, the corruption is a symptom of the problem. Our core problem is systemic.
Okay.
And one of those problems that we need to first resolve is around our financial processes. Now, from government, money flows to most part of the public. Now, how? If you look at our treasury, how are money being shared among different ministries? Now, you have, for example, government in the past had created what they call GIFMIX. You take a time and look at what that GIFMIX objective of that project was supposed to be and what it is now.
A factor also in the TSA account.
TSA.
That is something that started in, I think, in Jonathan's administration and has been continued by the Buhari administration.
It's been continued,
yes.
But clearly it's not achieved its objective. And the point is this: we have not really been able to stem it at the systemic level of how money exchange hands in our country. So what we're doing as a political party, for example, is that we have demonstrated to Nigerians that we can use IT as a tool. If we can use IT as a tool to bring transparency at a party level, we should be trusted that we will be able to do that at financial level and among all other areas. At this stage, I'm going to have to interrupt. I beg your pardon, because Mr. Ibrahim in Kaduna has been waiting. Good morning, Ibrahim.
Good morning, Mr. Kyari, and good morning to your two guests over there.
Thank you. Good morning.
In fact, yes, this electronic voting, at least we are now in the digital era. It's very good to go into it. But are you telling me that some of these politicians, are they going to accept it? The answer is no, and indeed capital no. Do you know why? Many things are also involved. I know that, yes, it's a way to go, but to my own opinion as a person, and indeed as Nigerian, we still have a long way to go. It's not something that will be coming to be at this moment. Because why? There are some areas, as I'm telling you today now, that they don't have a network in that area. Can it be possible as well? Now, look at another aspect of it. Now, many things can also involve, because why? Some politicians can sponsor some experts to hijack this process. I'm telling you. So to me, instead of going to that era, it will take some time, because in all this matter, I am so skeptical. And my skepticism is this. politicians, they will undermine this process. Even when ATM comes on board, we know what the process that we pass through. But now we are trying to perfect it. Before the electoral bill to go into electronic transition, it will take a long way. Please, let us come to our position now, because why? All politics and indeed all elections start from local. And it was in this local area that all these results come up in masses. And I'm not talking of maybe some people are trying to go there, we use that one to maneuver. No, electronic voting is good, but we are not matured yet to get.
Yes,
so
okay.
Let us go back and trace our history back and go to our own way of doing it. Thank you very much. This is Ibrahim again from Kaduna. Bye.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ibrahim in Kaduna. I was reading the other day that the Association of Telcos Operators of Nigeria said that they need really, I think, till the end of the year and to really, do some things to really make this flow properly. So it can be done, but he also went back to the whole question about we're not yet mature enough for it. I don't know why that didn't apply. That sentiment didn't apply to when Nigerians were going to be given ATMs. I don't know why that sentiment didn't apply when Nigerians were going to be given internet connectivity.
Ask a question.
So now we're not mature for it, which is a pretty widespread opinion. So it's going back to the fear of manipulation, I would suggest.
Were we matured for Zoom meetings and the virtual meetings?
Thank you very much.
By March, April, May, June 2020, when COVID-19 locked down the world, we had to queue in.
We didn't have a choice.
At all levels, in religion, different,
That's because there couldn't be any fooling around.
Exactly. So when we start waiting when will we be matured? After 60 years of political independence, we are still not mature to have an hospital that can treat the president in the country, to join the IT train that is... It's true, sir.
I'm not saying it's not true. You've also gone off on another tangent.
To make progress. The world is leaving us behind.
Let me bring in Benga. Good morning, Benga in Abuja.
Good morning, Mr. Yori.
Good morning, sir.
My name is Engineer Benga from Abuja.
Welcome, Engineer Benga.
Yes, INEC said they can transmit results anywhere in Nigeria. And NCC said that the spread of the 3G network is about 50%. And that is what you can only need to transmit. Let's bring the two together. What INEC is saying that it can transmit anywhere in Nigeria, it's not everywhere they can transmit real time. Underline, real time. As you press it, it goes. Because only 3G can transmit results through their application real time. What INEC is saying is that anywhere there's they will get the document snapped or the information, and when they reach where 3G is, they take them 1 hour, they take a whole day, depending on the terrain. There they cannot transmit. You can get the two together, because if you don't understand it, you think NCC is misleading. They're not misleading. Like the Edo and the Ondo election, many of those things did not get to the portal until the next day.
Okay.
And the results are now because they could not transmit in real time where there was no 3G. And we have to look at this technicality. And that's why the offender said, look, that they put that clause where it is possible. Because it's about real time. There's no way you can transmit this result real time all over Nigeria. No, not everywhere in Nigeria.
Right now.
At the same time, let's look at it.
Okay.
Politicians always look for a way out. In every system, people want to maneuver. And that is the aspect. Is INEC ready?
Maneuver or manipulate?
System foolproof. Manipulate. Is their system foolproof that nobody can hack it or manipulate? Nowhere in the world. Every system is hackable, depending on the level.
You're right. Thank you very much for contributing that. Now, let me just at this point say that Mr. Festus Okoye, the INEC National Commissioner for Information and other things, but information, he was supposed to be with us yesterday. It wasn't possible. We even organized it for today. Still, these things happen the way they do. But Mr. Okoye has said that he particularly owes it to us, and he will come across and come on maybe in the very, very immediate future. But this went, what Engineer Gbenga just said in there, it goes to IT. Yeah. And you yourself, you're an IT professional, you're a developmental person in that regard. Comment on his observations.
Sure, yeah, truly, what Engineer Gbenga, who just called in, said, yes, I would say it's not 100% not true, if I can use that word, but
it's not 100% untrue.
True, yes. if you allow me to be...
This is the difficulty with politicians.
You have elements
of difficulty of holding a conversation with politicians. Was it true or was it not true?
Well,
you can't be a little pregnant. You're either pregnant or you're not pregnant.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say here is that, he made a very great observation. Okay. And that's fairly...
Because he was emphasizing on real-time transmission.
Yeah. Now, the point INEC is making also is very, very sensible and commendable. What they are saying, what INEC is trying to tell us is that as an organization, they will deploy technology. It is possible to carry their device at the end of the election, take the picture or take a scan, and it's stored in the device. Now, when the device reaches any particular place where there is internet access, that snapshot they took, the scan, the image can be uploaded. Now, the fact that it is not there online real time, I don't think it has undermined the process at all, because what INEC is trying to achieve with that process is about transparency. Now, at the end of the day, it gets into the portal. You can sit anywhere in the country or anywhere in the world, provided you have access to the portal, and you'll be able to fetch it. And what INEC is still doing is that at the end of the day, the paper result is still the official document. Yeah. If you go by record management system, so the electronic copy they have taken could become a transient record. You have it online, and you have the signed document, which are based on the provisions of Nigerian law. It's still the official record, but that's the one that still goes to the collation center, which they're going to be using. But now we will have had another, the image of the result that can be used to check if someone has actually altered the result. So the issue about being online real time should not really be a worry for us.
Okay, yeah. You know, we could talk about this, especially when you have people like your good selves, gentlemen. We can talk about this for the next 2 hours, because there are so many aspects to it and so many shades. But we'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll change subject, because I'd like us to look for a few minutes at the saga of the Deputy Commissioner of Police, Abba Kyari's indictment, the legal and ethical perspectives. Stay with us, please. We'll be right back. We'll include your calls as well. Okay, welcome back. And if you're just joining us, we have Mr. Sonny Adenuga, National Chairman of BOOT Party, an acronym for Because of Our Tomorrow political party, and Mr. Jide Ologun, lawyer and political affairs analyst. So we have a few minutes on this conversation. The nation has been regaled with the FBI indictment of a very, very senior cop, Deputy Commissioner of Police, Abba Kyari. All sorts of allegations have been made. We don't need to go through them. Everybody in Nigeria knows about this whole matter now. The long and short of it is that Abba Kyari is allegedly a corrupt cop. So what our people now have to find out, the police, in fact, the whole society, is Abba Kyari guilty or not guilty?
And that is left for the courts to decide, because constitutionally speaking, someone who is alleged to have committed a crime is presumed innocent until the case is proved beyond all reasonable doubts. And I believe also that is the position in the United States of America. But right now there are allegations, and the FBI has been instructed to get him arrested. And that brings us to the laws on extradition also. I mean, the federal government of Nigeria must find it necessary to release him to be taken to the USA to answer questions there. And right now, the USA is a requesting country, whilst Nigeria is a territorial country. And by way of responding, the police has placed him on suspension, perhaps to enable them carry out their own investigation.
Because they have said that they are investigating.
Exactly, and a committee has been set up to investigate him. And in the criminal justice value chain, there are three very important pillars. You have thorough investigation, diligent prosecution, and a committed judiciary. But the United States of America appears to have done their own thorough investigation, and I'm sure they must have some concrete evidence to, prosecute him if he is released. So it's now about getting him to, because America cannot try him in Nigeria, So that is where we are now. So whether the government will release him, we be prompted by the outcome of the investigations going on.
I'm just, I'm thinking that Nigeria will, of course, examine the indictment of, is it America or the FBI, or are the two the same in this particular instance? So let's just stick with the facts and say an FBI agent, and if you're an FBI agent, you're acting on behalf of the FBI, has made this very grievous allegation. Of course, the Deputy Commissioner of Police has protested his innocence. Give me, as a political party, this is an issue that borders on corruption.
Yeah.
It's an allegation. Yeah. What do you have any thoughts?
I think it's clearly, it shows the APC-led government has failed, and that's what it is. As a nation, APC came into government going about the word change, and they said they're going to change everything, including corruption and others. But as a corp of a federal, of Federal Republic of Nigeria, for me, as a person, it's shameful that it has to take a foreign nation to attempt to charge our own corp. It would have been nice if it were to be that through the investigation of the Nigerian police force, they found this out. For me as an individual, it's nothing to be proud about that they arrest our corp. It's still a Nigerian. And at the end of the day, why is it that our own corp, who is serving, we have this corp working in a police force of a government that has claimed that it's going to change everything. And they've not been able to arrest him or say, oh, they're going to charge him or investigate him until a foreign country let us know. When are we going to...
1 second, please. Yeah. Let me bring in Emmanuel, who has called in from Port Harcourt. Good morning, Emmanuel. Emmanuel in Port Harcourt. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, Uncle Larry, good morning.
Thank you for calling in. Good morning.
Yeah, please, I want to say something about e-transmission.
We've left that subject, but go ahead, please. Go ahead. Make it very brief, please, since you've called in.
Yeah. I will do that. What I know concerning the e-transmission, any senator or rep that against it, they are the enemy of Nigeria.
Say that again. Any what?
Yeah.
Any
senator or rep that against the e-transmission, they are the enemy of Nigeria.
Any senator or representative against e-transmission is against Nigeria. Okay, I got that.
They don't want Nigeria to move on because they know most of them will not come back in 2023. If they agree, the e-transmission can transmit.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Emmanuel, for calling in. Yes.
So as I was saying, because this is a corruption case, and we've got a government that has come into power and told us they're going to do miracles.
Well, Mr. Adenuga, there's a bit of politicking going on, in your statement, and perhaps it's not to be to borrow your methodology. Let me just say, perhaps it's not to be unexpected. I also did a double negative. But the issue is a very, very serious one. Yeah. The mere fact that this kind of an allegation, among the pictures that were being shown there, there was one that really cooked his goose, so to speak, even though we're still talking about an allegation. We're still talking about an allegation. Quite frankly, it's a very worrying situation. But in the meantime, while I'm trying to clear my head on the matter, Mazi Okoroafo, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Sayori. Good morning, I guess.
Yes, thank you for calling in.
You see, when we talk about e-transmission, you see, anybody against it, just look at it. He has three issues against himself and this country. One is bringing us back to analog stage. and maybe the person wants to do what to rig election, which is not possible. And the third one is that Nigerians don't want us to, those people who don't want us to go back to this e-transmission are those who want to bring us back to all this. Now, look at Ghana, what they are doing. Now, the past election, we saw what happened. This electoral, even the Edo State, we were very happy. Before you talk, Jack Robinson, the result has already been announced on. You don't even need to wait for INEC to give you total answer. So, we should all support this e-transmission of results. That is the best option for this country because we cannot be going backwards.
All right, then. I want to thank you very much, Mazi. Thank you very much, Mazi. Appreciate your calling in. Mazi also chose to speak about the previous subject. I don't know if he was going to get to the present subject, but the very worrying, indictment from the U.S. Of the Deputy Commissioner of Police, Mr. Adenuga, politician that he is, was not going to miss an opportunity. So he came in on it in that way. But speak to us about sovereignty issues. I don't know. Are we supposed to just hand over, Kyari? It's not going to work like that, I don't imagine.
I already mentioned that. Because we can bring in, look at the case of Igboho, who is in Benin Republic. The federal government wants Benin Republic to release him. But Benin Republic cannot just automatically release. Benin Republic must look at the human rights profile of Nigeria, whether he will get justice. So that Benin is a territorial country where he is. Nigeria is a requesting country. So this time around, America has allegations against a Super Cup in Nigeria. There are allegations. So what Nigeria can do is investigate. And if he is found to be culpable, to be released to the American government for prosecution, as the case may be. Look at the case of Hush Puppy himself. Hush Puppy was arrested in the UAE and released to the United States of America for prosecution. And somewhere along the line in the prosecution, he has pleaded guilty and has implicated some officials that are of key interest to America. So Nigeria may come out to say, we have not found this guy, culpable in any way. We are not going to release him. And whether he will be forcefully taken away is a different ballgame. But I can let you know that in the case of the former governor of Delta State, Ibori, he has not been prosecuted in Nigeria in respect of the corruption in office. But he was jailed 13 years in the UK. He was also arrested and taken to the UK for specific
That's the convicted fraudster.
So
because that's the convicted fraudster, Hush Puppy, who has admitted his guilt. And I think
so it's a matter of the national conscience now. And sorry, I don't want to keep Mr. Aminu waiting too much more longer. Good morning, Mr. Aminu.
Oh, Mr. Yori, good morning.
Thank you for calling, sir. Go ahead, please.
Yes, Mr. Yori, we are all talking about this corruption of a thing. It's the greatest enemy of Nigeria and Nigerians. Whoever that is involved, whether he is a cop, a civil servant, a businessman, should be brought to book. That is how it should go. The elections we are talking about, transmission or whatever, it all boils down to the corruption thing that we see. Whether it is Abba Kyari, whether it is Ibori, whether it is Aminu, whether it is Yori.
No, leave Yori out of it. Leave Yori out of it. Mr. Aminu. Please carry on. Please carry on.
So please, we should all stand above both.
Okay.
We should be morally upright.
Thank you very much, Mr. Aminu. I appreciate your calling in.
Thank you very much, Mr. Eric.
Yes. Mr. Aminu makes it very difficult because he was very direct, and that's the one thing you are really not in Nigerian politics. Direct. Yeah. Direct. As he said, just follow what the evidence says. And we have these problems, whether it is in the judiciary, whether it is in our life.
In fact,
it's very inconvenient to be direct.
15,
we will then befuddle the issue a lot. But Mr. Aminu cut right through it and said
Section 15, subsection 5 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended says that the state shall abolish corruption and abuse of office. It's there, specific. So
The
it's a
state
major
shall abolish
assignment.
corruption.
It's a major mandate of the government, irrespective of who is involved. But having said that, the criminal justice value chain is a bit tight. You must have thorough investigation, diligent prosecution, and a committed judiciary. And I made reference to the case of Kanu that could not be presented in court for prosecution for logistic reasons. A whole nation, the giant of Africa, having logistic challenges to bring an accused person to court.
These are the complications I was talking about.
What approach do we as a nation have towards fighting corruption?
Amino has told us, be direct. Whoever, we often hear, whoever's ox is God. You know, we're just entertaining ourselves.
But about 400 have been allegedly arrested for or identified for sponsoring terrorism by the Attorney General of the Federation. Have they been brought for prosecution? And UAE has convicted sponsors of Boko Haram in the UAE.
Mr. Yakub, good morning. Make it brief, please. We're almost done.
I will do that. Chief Jari, good morning.
Good morning,
good
sir.
Morning to your guests. Because of the time, one of your guests, I don't have that in my mind. He is a true politician. Because,
Mr. Sonny Adenuga, he is the national chairman of BOOT party.
He is doing his job. He's doing his job. Because I don't see any reason why he will say that, or because Abba Kyari was got to know through hotspot in United States of America. That means, in that case, the government of the day has failed. This has been happening. One of your guys just
Thank you for pointing that out, Yakub.
Thank you. Because of the time, good morning. Well done, sir.
All right then, thank you very much. So somebody called in to object that, wait a minute, but as I said,
the Super Cup, we're not talking of ordinary person on the streets of Nigeria.
Yeah,
we're talking of a deputy.
He was talking about the shot you took.
Yeah.
Some might say it's a cheap one. Some might say it's a cheap one.
Yeah,
but because of Abba Kyari, you actually did say, sir, that this that shows the failure of this administration.
Yeah, I still stand on it. Because if both party forms government, and we're going to say, guys, will we end corruption in Nigeria? I say it to the whole Nigeria today, hold us to every corruption that happens in our system. In any society, a president comes to power and he says he's going to change everything for good. Things like this, when it happens, you should have been out there and tell the whole world, probably, I'm sorry, for this has not happened, and we're going to take the right action. We shouldn't, if we say we should be direct, then we should be direct right from the top. We have a systemic problem. The tone at the top must be changed, and we should bring leadership to Nigeria.
He has been suspended to facilitate investigation.
But this administration has enabled the suspension of Abba Kyari. He is being investigated.
It still doesn't absorb the government of responsibility of telling Nigerians they are sorry they have not performed their duties. They said they're going to change. If Boot Party has said in its manifesto, we're going to end corruption. If we form government and we didn't do that, you should hold us accountable for it.
But the government cannot abrogate.
Last word. I got to go now. Thank you very much, Mr. Adenuga. Last word, because Mr. Adenuga is going to stretch this on because he has now put on his political cap, and I understand it. It's his right. Yes. The whole matter of Abba Kyari is, I suppose we have to watch it unfold. We have to watch it unfold.
We have to. But Nigeria must ensure that we leverage on this opportunity to profile Nigeria as a nation that is ready to fight corruption. So let's do the right thing, and that by extension will begin to bring us back on the path of righteousness and prosperity, because this is the greatest country in the world and God has blessed us so much. But how we govern the country, we determine the manifestation of the blessings.
Indeed. I'll leave it there because I think that ties in well with BOOT's concept as well.
Thank you, sir.
So thank you very much, Mr. Sonny Adenuga, National Chairman, Boot Party, and Mr. Jide Ologun, Lawyer and Political Affairs Analyst. That's our program today. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.